welcome to our commerce class for today. We have discussed other authorities that aids foreign trade. We are still on our foreign trade series. So today we are going to talk about other agency too that aids foreign trade. And we are going to talk about airports and then seaports. Those are the two we are going to talk about today. We'll talk about airports authorities, we'll talk about seaport authorities and their function. That's the two objectives. The Nigerian Airport Authority, they are concerned about the airports we have in Nigeria. They do a lot of work to make it function. Their work is to provide facilities, provide space, carry out managerial function in order for these airports to function effectively. So the Nigeria Airport Authority, it's an agency that is concerned about the airline, the different airports we have in Nigeria, how they can function, how they can be maintained, things that will help to make that sector run efficiently and effectively. That is the major function they carry out. They are officials, they are agencies that help in regulating, carrying out maintenance, making sure that there are modalities for our airline and airports to function effectively. That's what they do. But then, we have explained what they do. But from the function, you will be able to explain more wider what they do. I have about 8 functions that they carry out. Their functions is many. As many as you can think of. Add to this 8 I'm going to discuss in this class. Now let's see some of their functions. 1. Control of airlines. They make sure they control airline. You see, airplane landing, there are officials who are there to control their landing processes. And it is from these officials that we have those who controls such. They make sure too that there is provision of parking space. The airline needs to land and there must be space for it to park. It's not just one airline. There may be a number of them in the airport. And so adequate spacing have to be put in place to make sure that these airlines are parked properly, and when they are taking off, it will not pose a problem for them. These airline authorities, they carry out such function. Provision of facilities. There are a lot of facilities that are required in the airport, and so these facilities, they have to provide it so that the agency can run effectively. Aeroplane taking off, aeroplane landing, people coming in, people going out might not have a problem in the process. Maintenance of facilities. These facilities in use have to be maintained. The space in which these airlines have to land have to be kept clean, have to be well maintained. Things have to be put in order. These airlines have to be maintained, have to be repaired. They have to make sure that everything is well set before an airplane is set to go. And so maintenance culture on the part of the Nigerian Airport Authority is highly required. They make sure the facilities are functioning. They make sure the environment is conducive and good. They make sure everywhere is clean. That's another function. Provision of warehouse. Remember, we have air cargoes. Aeroplanes sometimes come with cargoes. Remember, I was still talking about international trade, foreign trade. And these cargoes are imported goods from other countries to our countries. Or there might be exported goods that need to be taken out of the country. There need to be warehouse where these luggages, cargoes, have to be put or need to be housed first before they are loaded out. So there must be a large space for warehousing where loads, cargoes, luggages have to be packed. So there must be provision for warehouse. Then we have revenue collection. They collect tax, they collect revenue, people book for airline. These revenues serves as a kind of revenue for the government, and you and I benefit from it because this revenue are used to, after maintaining the particular agency, then the others are used to develop other sectors that require revenue or that requires attention. Then we'll have the seventh one, promotion of foreign trade. Remember, they are in charge of taking people out of the country or locally. Now let's focus on the taking people out of the country because we are on the series of foreign trade in our commerce class. They promote foreign trade. They make sure that they advertise for people to know that they bring in goods from other countries. They can specify the countries they can bring goods from. They can tell you their tariff plan. They can equally tell you other things that can aid you in carrying out your foreign trade. That's another thing that they do. Then ensure passenger security. If the airport is not well protected, hoodlums can come in and then cause havoc on the environment, which means the life of passengers might be at stake. So security measures are put in place so that passengers' life, officials' life may not be in danger. People who are suspected criminals might not come there and carry out criminal activities. So, we have seen the functions of the Nigerian Airport Authority. From this function, you can explain widely what they do. We're going to the second objective, Nigerian Ports Authority, which I can say is the Seaport Authority, the Nigeria Ports Authority. Let's see what they do and their function, which is our second objective. The Nigerian Ports Authority. When we talk about the Nigerian Ports Authority, we talk about our seaports. That is what we refer to as the Nigerian Ports Authority. The seaports, where ship, land. Still remember that this is connected to foreign trade, international trade. Now these seaport authorities or these ports authorities, this is an agency that makes sure that our ports, our seaports are functioning effectively and all modality put in place so that things works efficiently. The functions I'm going to explain will help you to describe their duties in a more broader sense. The Seaport Authority is an agency that Nigerians have put in place to make sure that things move smoothly in our various ports. We have that in Lagos, that in Calabar, that in Port Harcourt. These seaports are managed by government officials. It is an agency that the government put in place And so they carry out a number of duties to make sure that these ports work very well. Now, I haven't told you what the Port Authority is. Remember, it is the seaports, those who are in charge of handling our seaports. Now, what are the functions they carry out, to be able to explain what they do better? One, they carry out maintenance and improvement of the ports. The port needs to be maintained regularly. There are a lot of things that needs to be done. Now let me tell you something. Please, if you live within the Lagos axis, Calabar axis, or Port Harcourt axis, tell your parents to take you on a tour, an excursion, or your school to these ports to see what goes on there, to see what happens there. Ship, how cargoes are loaded out the ship, or how they are loaded into the ship. Other things you can find in the ports that will help you to visualize the functions they carry out. So if you are opportune to, please visit these places. They will help you so much. Even for the airport authorities, you can visit an airport and see what goes on there, what they are doing there. That will help you to understand its function. Now, remember that innovation comes, upgrading comes. And so, they need to put innovation into things. When there is need for them to upgrade, they upgrade things. When there is need for them to maintain the facilities, they maintain. So they are in charge of bringing in creativity, innovation, to make things happen in a more modern way in the ports. Revenue collection. Remember, goods that comes in, you think of clearing and forwarding these goods. We have talked about the function of custom authorities. This is where they collect revenues from imported goods and exported goods. So this revenue is used to maintain the port, and the surplus are used for other sectors of the economy. Provision of warehouse, like we have in airports, space to put in loads that are offloaded from the ship and loads that are going out. There must be spacious warehouse for these products, for these goods to be housed. Supervision of landing and offloading of goods. Goods coming in from other countries need to be supervised. That's where we talk about quarantine services for livestock. That's where we talk about smuggling goods. That's where we talk about origin of goods, that documents. So they supervise all of this to make sure things are happening as they ought to. And so when they do this supervision, they'll be able to see smuggled goods, harmful goods, goods that need to be bad, and others. They will have maintenance of facilities. Maintenance and improvement of facilities, they are almost the same. And then lastly, provision of security. Remember, these are goods coming from other country to our country. Robbery, theft, hoodlums. Bad people can come in to hijack these properties, these goods. So, high security is highly needed to scare bad people, bad individuals away. And then the life of people, passengers, officials that work within the environment needs to be protected. So these are the functions of the Nigerian Port Authority. We have been able to discuss our two objectives for our class today. In our next class, we'll discuss other commercial areas that concerns your level. Thank you for being part of this class. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. If you are returning subscribers, thank you for returning. And if you have comments or questions, give us below the comment box. We have more than 85% of individuals who come across our channels, but they are not subscribed. If you know you find value for what we do here, please subscribe so that you will be the first to get notified when we upload a new video. It's my pleasure always being here, and thank you for being our